Imagine this. You walk into a stylish, high-end restaurant with the person you love. The lighting is soft, the music is elegant, and the smell of fresh dishes fills the air. You've been looking forward to this dinner all week. You made the reservation days in advance, even double-checked it before arriving. You sit down, your food is served, and everything feels perfect. Until suddenly, a sharp voice cuts through the restaurant like a blade. "I want you two out of here, now." In that instant, every head in the room turns. Conversations stop, forks freeze mid-air, and just like that, the beautiful evening you planned begins to unravel. Standing over the table is the owner himself, Mr. Harris, a tall man in a crisp navy blazer, his face flushed with irritation. Marcus and Samantha, the young couple enjoying their dinner, look up in disbelief. Marcus furrows his brows. Why would they leave? They just got their meals. Samantha, calm but firm, reminds Harris they have a reservation and even shows him the confirmation on her phone. But Harris only sneers, claiming it doesn't matter because he needs this table for someone more important. Marcus pushes back, insisting they paid just like everyone else and deserve the same treatment. But Harris, muttering under his breath, storms away. Instead of cooling off, Harris corners the waitress who seated them. His tone is harsh, his words filled with contempt. He points toward Marcus and Samantha, lowering his voice so no one else can hear. "Why did you seat them? I told you I don't want their type in here tonight." The waitress looks shocked. She reminds him that they had a confirmed reservation, but Harris doesn't care. Tonight is special. The restaurant is about to be sold, and the potential buyer is on his way. Harris doesn't want the buyer's first impression ruined by seeing a black couple seated in the center of his restaurant. His prejudice is laid bare. Moments later, the waitress returns to Marcus and Samantha with an awkward smile. She gently suggests moving them to another table, claiming it will give them more privacy. Marcus immediately senses something is wrong. He shakes his head, saying they are fine where they are. Samantha, however, places her hand on his, whispering that she doesn't want their night to be ruined by drama. Reluctantly, Marcus agrees to move, though his expression shows his unease. But the situation doesn't end there. Harris soon returns with their bill in his hand, even though they haven't finished eating. Marcus stares in confusion. Why would they need to pay up front when everyone else pays at the end? Harris coldly explains that he's seen people like them leave without paying. Samantha quickly points to a white couple nearby who haven't been asked to do the same. Harris shrugs, insisting it's his restaurant and his rules. Marcus raises his voice, calling it intimidation. Samantha, wanting to keep the peace, convinces Marcus to hand over his card. After paying, they're guided down a narrow hallway to what is supposed to be their new table. But when the waitress opens the door, Marcus and Samantha are stunned. It isn't a dining space at all. It's a dusty storage room with a small table shoved in the corner. Samantha folds her arms in frustration, declaring this unacceptable. The waitress looks apologetic, whispering that her hands are tied. They demand to speak with Harris again. Meanwhile, Harris is busy entertaining the potential buyer in the lounge. He greets him warmly, boasting about his restaurant's class and reputation. But before their conversation can continue, the waitress signals that there's trouble again. Harris groans, storms back to the hallway, and lashes out at Marcus and Samantha. "You people always think you're owed special treatment." Marcus remains calm, his voice steady. "We don't want special treatment. We just want the same treatment as everyone else." Harris scoffs, insisting that putting them in storage is equal treatment. Samantha narrows her eyes and calmly states, "No, that's why we're about to post this video." Harris laughs arrogantly, convinced it won't matter. But as soon as he leaves, Marcus takes out his phone and uploads the entire incident online. Back in the lounge, Harris returns to the buyer with a smug smile, apologizing for the troublemakers he had to deal with. But the buyer's expression is stone cold. Without saying a word, he holds up his phone. Playing on the screen is the very video Marcus just posted. Harris's face drains of color. He stammers, asking how the buyer got the video so quickly. The buyer leans back, his voice cool and sharp. "From my general manager, he posted it." Harris freezes, unable to process what he just heard. At that moment, Marcus and Samantha walk confidently into the lounge. Marcus looks Harris directly in the eye and says calmly, "So, I see you've met my boss." The buyer nods. "Funny enough, Marcus is the general manager I was telling you about." Harris's jaw drops. The very man he tried to humiliate is not just a customer. He's the right hand of the buyer. Suddenly, all of Harris's arrogance crumbles. Desperate, Harris begs the buyer to sign the papers and take the restaurant off his hands. He promises to disappear quietly, but the buyer doesn't answer right away. Instead, he turns to Marcus. "What do you think?" he asks. Marcus doesn't hesitate. With calm confidence, he replies, "I think you shouldn't do business with someone like him. Walk away. Let him sink." Harris's forced smile fades completely. The deal he worked so hard to protect is gone. His prejudice didn't just ruin a dinner, it destroyed his future. And just like that, life flipped the script. Harris thought his power and money gave him control, but in the end, his hatred left him powerless. Marcus and Samantha walked out with their dignity, and Harris was left standing in the ruins of his own arrogance. So what's the takeaway? Respect is not a luxury that should be reserved for a select few. It is a basic right every person deserves. No matter the color of your skin, the background you come from, or the job title you hold, every human being deserves dignity. Harris lost everything because he never understood that truth. Now, let me ask you this. If you were in Marcus and Samantha's shoes, what would you have done? Would you have stood your ground? Or would you have walked away quietly? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if you believe that character matters more than color, and respect should be universal, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Because at the end of the day, kindness costs nothing, but it can change everything.